Hello students, we'll look at part 2 of the competitive exam related questions or MCQs from the chapter 12 and 13 of physics of class 12, atoms and nuclei. Question 31. A nuclear reactor delivers a power of 10 to the power of 9 watts. What is the amount of fuel consumed by the reactor in 1 hour? So here they have mentioned the amount of power being delivered by a nuclear reactor, and we are asked to find out the amount of fuel that's being consumed. So the formula you'll have to recollect is that the power of a reactor, nuclear reactor, is given by energy over time. So energy here is the conversion of mass into energy, nuclear mass into energy. So that will be given by Einstein's equivalence between mass and energy. So the formula becomes mc squared divided by time. Now we are required to find the amount of mass consumed to release the amount of power stated in the question. So we rearrange the formula to bring mass on the left hand side. So the right hand side turns out to be Pt by c square. Now plugging in the values, power is 10 to the power 9 watts multiplied by time. So 1 hour is 3600 seconds divided by speed of light is 3 into 10 power 8 whole square. So that gives us 0.04 grams. So option B is the right answer. Question 32. A deuteron bombards a N714 nucleus, that's a nitrogen nucleus, and an alpha particle is emitted. What is the product nucleus? So similar to a chemical reaction, we write nuclear reactions with the left hand side and the right hand side, and there is two laws that determine the balance between the left and the right hand sides. So we'll have to fall back on that principle to find out what the product nucleus in this particular reaction would turn out to be. So the reaction that's stated is that a deuteron, so a deuteron is a hydrogen nucleus with one proton and one neutron. So the atomic number is 1, mass number is 2. This deuteron bombards a nitrogen nucleus with atomic number 7 and a mass number of 14 to give rise to an unknown element X with atomic number A and mass number B, plus an alpha particle is emitted, and we know that an alpha particle is the nucleus of a helium atom. So it has 2 protons and 2 neutrons, making a mass number of 4. Now there's law of conservation of atomic number. So let's start at the bottom left hand numbers of each of the elements in the equation. Law of conservation of atomic number states that the total number of atomic numbers on the left hand side, the sum of the atomic numbers should be equal to the sum of the atomic numbers on the right hand side. So 1 plus 7 on the left hand side should be equal to A plus 2, which gives A as 6. So the element has a new element that's formed has an atomic number of 6. So that should give us an idea of which element it is. Law of conservation of mass number also applies here, which will be the sum of mass numbers on the left hand side to be in equivalence to the sum of mass numbers on the right hand side. So 2 plus 14 should be equal to B plus 4. That gives B as 12. So the product nucleus now turns out to be X with atomic number 6 and mass number 12, which can be only carbon. So the option A is the right answer. Question 33. Due to an accident, a lab gets sprayed with a radioactive substance of half-life 2 hours. The intensity of radiation is found to be 64 times the permissible level. When will the lab be safe for use? So here the concept of half-life is being tested. So every 2 hours the amount of radioactive nuclei in the substance reduces by half. And right now, when the accident has occurred, the radiation level is 64 times the permissible level. So every 2 hours the intensity will become half. Using that knowledge, 64, the level of 64 will become 32 times the permissible level at the end of 2 hours. 32 will become 16 at the end of 4 hours. That's 2 more hours have elapsed. 16 will become 8 when 6 hours have passed from the beginning, since the accident has happened. 8 becomes 4 after 8 hours have elapsed. 4 becomes 2 after 10 hours have elapsed. And 2 becomes 1, which is the permissible level after 12 hours have elapsed. So option D is the right answer. Question 34. The average binding energy of a nucleus is 8 electron volts, 8 kilo electron volts, 8 mega electron volts, 8 VeV. Now obviously option 8 is possibly not an answer because the units do not make sense. So the options have to be one among A, B or C. Now we know from the graph that plots elements with their mass numbers on the x-axis and the binding energy per nucleon on the y-axis, that between element with mass number 30 to about 170 the line is pretty straight. So that line sort of stabilizes at around 8 to 8.8 mega electron volts, and that's where a nucleus is the most stable. Nuclei with mass numbers less than 30 and nuclei with mass numbers greater than 170 tend to be unstable because of the low binding energies. In elements with low mass numbers, there's not enough nucleons to produce the needed binding energy of around 8 mega electron volts. And in nuclei with mass numbers greater than 170, the size of the nucleus is too big for a nucleon at one edge of a sphere to influence another nucleon at another edge of the sphere through the strong nuclear force. Hence, the nucleus becomes unstable. Therefore, the answer here is 8 mega electron volts. Question 35. The number of neutrons in a uranium-92-235 is. So the atomic number here is 92. So atomic numbers are always written at the bottom left hand corner of this element's symbol. Here the element symbol is U, which stands for uranium. and the top right hand corner gives the mass number. Now mass number is the sum of the total protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom, and atomic number is the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom. Therefore, number of neutrons is given by mass number minus atomic number. So which is 235 minus 92, which gives us 143. So option D is the right answer. Question 36. When a proton in a radioactive nucleus becomes a neutron, the emitted particle is. So a proton rarely becomes a neutron, and in a natural set of or arrangement of things, this kind of a nuclear reaction is very rare. But scientists or physicists have discovered that when a proton is forcibly made to bombard with another proton, or you take another elemental particle called a neutrino and combine it with the proton, it turns into a neutron. So the answer here is option B, which is neutrino. Question 37. A beta particle is emitted by a radioactive nucleus at the time of conversion of nucleon into energy, a positron into energy, a neutron into proton, a proton into neutron. So in just the previous question, we saw that when a proton is converted into neutron, it does so by combining with the neutrino. So when a beta particle is emitted by a radioactive nucleus, then the conversion would have to be from a neutron into a proton. So option C is the right answer. Question 38. The nuclear reactor at Kaiga is a breeder reactor, research reactor, fusion reactor, power reactor. So obviously out of the four choices, fusion reactor can be straight away eliminated because mankind is yet to invent a fusion reactor. The one at Kaiga has been established mainly to generate power. So it's a fission reactor that generates power. But since you don't have fission reactor as one of the options, you'll have to settle with power reactor. It will not be a research reactor or a breeder reactor because the only ones of these kinds are in Trombay, wherein research reactors were first established. And breeder reactors are special reactors that create fissile material from naturally occurring radioactive elements. So the answer here is option D, power reactor. Question 39. The ratio of the nuclear radii of elements with mass numbers 343 and 64 is. So here they are asking you for the ratio between two elements whose mass numbers are 343 and 64. So options given as 7:4, 49:16, 343:64, or radius does not depend on mass numbers. So you'll have to go back to recollect the fact that the radius of any element is given by the formula R is equal to R naught into a to the power of 1 by 3, where R naught is the radius of a hydrogen nucleus and a is the mass number of that particular element raised to the power of 1 by 3. So if we take the ratio for these two elements, let's take the first element as 1. R1 will be equal to R0 into 343 to the power of 1 by 3, because mass number is 343. R2 will then become R0 into 64 to the power of 1 by 3. Now when I take the ratios R1 by R2, you get 343 by 64 whole to the power of 1 by 3, or the cube root of the numbers 343 and 64 on the right hand side, which gives me 7:4. So option A is the right answer here. Question 40. The electron in a hydrogen atom makes a transition from N1 to N2 state. Its time period in N2 is 8 times the time period in N1. What are the possible values of N1 and N2? So we should first understand what is meant by time period. So time period is the time taken by an electron in a particular orbit to complete one revolution around the nucleus. And the question states that the time period in energy level N2 or orbit N2 is 8 times the time period in N1. So obviously, the further the orbit or the larger the orbit, the more the time an electron takes to make an orbit. So N2 is obviously the bigger orbit. So obviously, with just that information, you can eliminate options A and C, which leaves us with option B and D. Because option A and C, the first number, that is the value of N1, is 8 and 6, which is greater than the subsequent values 1 and 2 given for those options. So straight away you can eliminate option A and C, which leaves us with option B and D. Now we know that the time period of any orbit is directly proportional to the cube of the orbit number. So 64 by 8, I take 64 by 8 because it says the time period of orbit 2 is 8 times the time period of orbit 1. So let me take a number that's 8 times. If I choose 8 as the first orbit's time period, then the second orbit's time period will be 64. 8 times 8. Now when I take the cube root on both sides, I get N2 by N1 as 4 by 2, which means N1 equals 2 and N2 equals 4, which leaves me option B as the right answer.